I'm Zach Snyder.
And I'm Maine Matthews.
And welcome back to another YouTube podcast. The one-stop shop for anything and everything related to YouTube.
The show where Ethan and his girlfriend in the next room are watching iCarly on Netflix right now.
Oh.
So, not the new one.
Okay.
The OG iCarly right now, as we speak.
They on the nostalgia high?
I guess so.
Fair enough.
They're watching the episode, not sure if you know it, but the dude with the giant fucking disgusting mole in the hotel. He's like an asshole
Lubert?
or whatever. Yeah, Lubert,
Yeah.
that motherfucker.
Yeah, he on a few of them.
He's
like a reoccurring member. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, they have an entire plot line where like he gets made fun of a lot. The whole like point of his character is he just gets pranked. But later on in the show, they give an episode where like they pranked him a little too hard, and so he gets like injured, like brutally injured. He has to go to the doctor and everything.
Yeah.
And he gets sent back home. We see that he's had like a really rough childhood. He had like a shitty life. So it's kind of unfortunate that these teenagers are just bullying him all the time. But Freddie's mom finds out that nobody's taking care of him, so she starts taking care of him, and then they start dating.
Oh no.
And that becomes part of the plot for that episode.
Oh no. Yikes.
Yeah.
That's kind of cringe.
What a show.
It's probably better than Family Guy though. So I can't be too hard.
You know, probably. I don't know. I
Can't be too harsh on it.
Episodes in a while, but
welcome back to the YouTube podcast, everybody.
Podcasts.
For you guys, it'll have been consistent for a couple of weeks, but it's been a hot second since we've recorded. And notably, it'll be the last recording before your boy Aden be going on vacation for a week. So
going on a breaky break.
Going on a little vacay, which I know. Wasn't Aden already taking a break like most of the year? And then I'm going to do it for another week, baby. So get hyped. Get hyped for that.
It sounds epic, though. Little vacay.
I love to fucking travel. I am cracked at traveling.
It's
so the
fun.
idea of just going
much, but it's fun.
anywhere is really exciting.
Because, like, you know, we get up, we watch YouTube, we work on YouTube videos, and then we watch more YouTube, and then, like, it's
the day.
That's kind of the day.
Yeah, maybe you go out to eat
the next day.
If you're getting real exciting, you know.
Go through the drive-thru at Cookout 3 times a week. You know, we're living the dream, honestly. So, my point is, getting away is a nice thing. If you can do it, go do it, because everybody got to get a break every once in a while, right?
It's not to say I won't be filming stuff while I'm there, so it's still not leaving or anything. But as we're going to talk about with your week on YouTube, a lot of what I've been doing has been in preparation to go away for a little bit, so I don't get DMs being like, "Hey, can you do this?" And like I did already. We're good.
No, leave me alone.
We're good. You don't have to talk to me. We're covered. So that's what I'm doing.
Fair enough. What I gotta before we get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, we might as well. I did need to bring up an issue that I'm having.
Okay.
With not only this podcast but you.
Me specifically.
Little beef.
Little podcast beef.
Little podcast beef. I was going through our DMs the other day.
Sure.
And it's crazy because you never once, not even mentioned that our sponsor today is Awesome Creator Academy with the YouTube Starter Kit.
You know, I was going to argue that, but I think in this one instance, and I mean specifically this one singular instance, you were right. You know, I should have brought that up, especially because they offer so much value from dozens of templates and downloads and everything from YouTube thumbnails, channel artwork, end cards, lower thirds, royalty-free background music, fonts, and more, just off the top of my head, you know?
It's crazy because, like, you could have even told me that if I just pay the one price of $99, I'd have unlimited access to the future downloads as they come out. And you can find the link to that in the show notes or the description of the podcast. Would have been helpful knowledge. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it. I clearly fucked up there, but you know what? I'm gonna make
Drop
it
the
up
ball.
to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make
Are
it
you
up to
okay?
you
What's up?
right
What's
here,
up?
right now. If I couldn't have mentioned the epic value of the YouTube starter kit, I could at least mention the fact that you can also get value by supporting us on Anchor. You can become a supporter
shit.
on Anchor at anchor.fm/another-YouTube-podcast. You can decide to support us financially at $1, $5, or $10 a month, and we'll read your name out loud.
That's, you know what? I think I forgive you.
Thanks.
I feel like that is
Thanks, bro.
a solid enough apology. So yeah, I agree with that. If even then, if people do support the podcast financially, we'll like read your name on the podcast.
Yeah,
It'll keep us consistent. All that good stuff. So that's dope. I'm glad you mentioned that at least.
And please, viewers, I'm sorry to you as well, right? If I gave my apology to Zach, I have to for you all. So if you accept my apology, check out the links in the description below to both Anchor and Awesome Creator Academy. And by clicking on them, I'll know all has been forgiven. And I'll know if you click on it. So I just hope you find it in your heart to forgive me like Zach has. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. You know what? And in accordance with that apology, I think I'll go ahead and just ask you like how your week was on YouTube.
On YouTube.com.
On YouTube.com/Blue Couch Productions.
/Blue Couch Productions. No dash.
Yeah.
No dash.
No dash. Is there? I don't know. Let me see. I don't think there is. Oh, sorry. It's youtube.com/channel/UCUMNL1BX6MHMQQWY dash. There's a dash. QPQUQQ.
It's a lot of Q's.
There's the yeah. But Blue Couch Productions is a lot easier to get to. So anyways.
Right. So talk about the new video, right? That'd be a pretty good place to start. I put out a video of something that has never been done before in the history of YouTube.
Unprecedented.
I talked about Super Mario Brothers. It's like, well, wait a minute. A lot of people have done that. Aden. Hold on. I talked about every level in Super Mario Brothers and ranked them. And I thought to myself, all right, Aden, you're finally doing some search-related content. You're finally filling in a niche of some videos that people want to watch. Because sometimes I'd be making quirky videos that are hard to find and people don't care about. And I'm like, this time, I finally hit it. And as we speak, it's currently at 11 fucking views. And I hate my life.
I dead ass.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
I don't know either.
Like,
I thought I would come on this podcast and be like, here's my reasons. Maybe the title is bad or the search terms. Or I literally took tags from other popular videos in the same subject. I titled it Super Search Efficient. It's a good video. It's not a bad video.
It's a great video. Yeah.
It's not really terribly long. I really like the thumbnail that I worked out for it. I put it on Twitter, on Discord. 11, Zachary. This is the worst video I've ever put out since like the fucking Let's Play days. Like there has not been another low quite as dramatic as this, and I do not know why.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. Especially like you just put out that Zelda video not that long ago too.
Yeah.
You'd think there'd be some momentum from that at least, but no, I don't get it, man.
Maybe that's the reason nobody covered the topic, Zachary. Maybe somebody tried to, and then their video got obliterated. And they're like, yeah, no more. I would take it down.
I'm wondering if maybe you had include a level on the screen or like part of like just put like world 1-1 of the game, have that on the screen instead of Bowser, something to make it very apparent you're talking about the NES Super Mario Bros. Maybe that'll help. Like but I don't know. Like I genuinely, it's a good thumbnail, it's a good title, it's a good video. I really fucked with it. Go watch it if you haven't already. I just but I don't know why it didn't do well.
I have no clue. I do not have an ounce or an inkling of why, and I'm sure it'll be something that I'll think about as to what might have gone wrong there. But for now, I don't know. I do know that the people who did watch it enjoyed it because the viewer retention's like 9 minutes. People make it 9 minutes to the video, so it's like a good halfway.
That's good.
So, I thought maybe it might have been a technical issue or something just batshit bad happens at a certain point, and it's like I watched it 2 times, no major technical issue. I don't know. I just don't know what it is. But such is YouTube, the platform, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do about that. Anyway, outside of that though, got a Aden on Acre out about Family Guy, one that I've been meaning to do for a little bit. And
is that fake?
you know what? I'll take the 11 views over having to watch more Family Guy. So, well, just goes to show the quality. But it turned out to be a funny episode, at least. I had a good time listening back to it, for sure.
It was entertaining to listen to.
Wanted to get that out. Recorded some Phasmophobia with the boys. Got 3 more episodes of that going to be coming out soon. It was very fun. Getting the rest of this Let's Play stuff out and edited, putting that all together. We're finishing Plague Night this Friday, I think. Kyle said it was either Friday or Sunday, and I'm like, all right, well, here's the thing. If we can't get it recorded then, there's a good chance I will not be able to finish it for a good while. Just because of vacation and everything. Right. So it's like, it's do or die. We either do these last 3 episodes Friday or Sunday, or they aren't being done for a while. And Kyle was like, okay. And I'm like, all right, we're shooting for it. Friday at the very least. And then I'll have like a day to edit them and put them together, but it won't take that long, presumably.
Right.
And then I streamed some more Mario Galaxy. Had another Mario Galaxy stream that went pretty well. Watched some BuzzFeed Unsolved Mysteries midway through it. Watched a couple of the videos and shit. Some good, a lot of bad stuff. And I'm about a stream away from finishing Mario Galaxy. So I'll probably do that sometime this week as of recording. Wrap it up and finish it up. But that was fun too. I enjoy streaming Mario Galaxy. Have a good time playing it. It's a nice little series. It took about an hour to get into the stream before like anything happened, but once it did, we really started going on a tailspin of events that was just fun and wild. So really goes to show, like, you gotta stream a good bit to make it worthwhile, because if you only stream for an hour and nobody shows up, it's like, well, you've essentially had the tree dilemma, right? If a tree falls and nobody's around, did it really happen? Like, did you really stream if nobody was there for an hour?
Right.
So, I'm glad I stuck with it. It's a
little frustrating. But
I'm glad I waited through it, because it turned out to be one of my favorite streams in recent memory. But I guess if you want a little bit of practical advice from this week, that would be what I would tell you, is to give it a little bit more time. Give it some time. Wait for people to show up. If you have an audience, they will eventually pop in. And if you don't, like, keep working at it till you can get somebody to show up. But streaming 30 minutes to an hour random times does not give you a good chance to get people to stick around. So if you're not consistent, that definitely hurts. But also, like, if you're streaming a very short amount of time, that probably hurts too.
It always feels like my streams are the best when they're consistent, right? Yep. Like,
they work together real well.
And sticking to it. It works. People expect that you're going to be there. They'll show up. And it just, you feel like you've accomplished something that day when it's on the schedule. Doesn't mean you can't sporadically stream. You definitely can if you're like, I think you're doing it in a smart way where you're like, all right, here's a game I'm going to play. I'm going to play it all the way through. We're going to try to get it done as efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
I think that is a good way to handle it as well.
I have a tendency to over deliver too, where I might not stream for a month or so, but if I do, the past couple have been like 4, 5, 6 hour streams. So it's like,
you like them long boys.
Yeah. So it's like, if I'm getting into it and enjoying it and I haven't streamed in a while, I'll tend to over deliver and make it a little bit longer while people are still around and enjoying it. So in a way, I'm still getting those hours in. It's just not over the course of like 3 or 4 weekly streams. What it's been recently is just like one fucking huge one every week or two. and doing it that way. Especially when I'm trying to finish games and it's not just one-offs or random shit like the tier maker tier list. So, but yeah, it's been my week on YouTube, helping to finish up the rest of the Let's Play stuff and get that all done and enjoy the vacay and try to tackle it again. I'm thinking there might be a possibility that I get another video out this week. Potentially, but I'm not promising anything. And if it doesn't happen, it'll be the first video that comes out when I get back. So note that's a possibility, but if it don't happen, it don't happen. It's fine. I'm not shooting for it. It's not the top list of my priorities right now.
I think it'll be cool for you to get away for a little bit and have like a very deliberate like reset point, right?
Yeah.
I know it's been a while since your last one, so that should be dope.
January wasn't that long ago, Zachary, so I don't
know.
Or February, actually, because the final Back to the Video Games took longer than I thought it would have.
Oh, true. February. But I mean, like, this is like you getting away, right?
Right. I'm not in my room for a week.
I feel like that's different. Yeah. Like, I think the last time you had, like, a true reset point was that one time you were, like, at your grandpa's. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't like do anything. You couldn't record anything for a while. I think maybe we did a couple of podcast episodes.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, like when you got back, you were like, I want to make some fucking content.
They did.
That's what you need. That's what I need, honestly. But I'm not
hey man, I'll invite you.
Soon.
It's sticky in the back. Back in
there
the
we
van.
go. There we go.
We'll go on a cross-country road trip with the bros.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But speaking of cross-country road trips with the homies, it's not really a segue there. How was your week on YouTube?
I mean, I've been okay, so put out 3 videos back to back 3 weeks in a row.
Pretty crazy. Pretty cool.
Put out a bunch of YouTube shorts, and I got some of those out this week too. And then it all died, bro. It all just died, like it always fucking dies. It's a great pattern. I got behind on my work. Got behind on my client work.
That makes sense.
Started putting out some banger YouTube videos, and then things started piling up on the client side of things. I picked up, I had an older client reach out to me about doing some other stuff for him, and I picked that up, and that ended up taking a lot more time than I thought it was going to be. And so, like, yesterday I finished up a lot of work. I literally sat here for like 10 hours straight and just did that.
Just grinding, man. Just on the hustle.
It was awful. I hated it. Like, fuck hustle culture, man. It's wild too, because like it was a decent amount of work that I could have spread over a couple of days, but I did it all in one day. And like technically, theoretically, if I did that every day, I could be making more money, but like who wants to do that? That's awful.
Yeah, it's miserable.
It's not fun. I don't like the idea of grinding at all anymore. I used to think I did, but no, it's not fun.
You do it for long enough, you'll find a hatred for it.
Yeah, right. But I did that. I'm still a little bit behind. I'm still got other stuff I'm trying to get done this week. So my main plan right now is to just try to get as much done as I can so that I can start getting back to the video stuff. Because we got a big video potentially coming out in the near future.
Yep.
So that'll be cool. Start working on some very basic stuff for that. But I want to dig into it a little bit. Right. We're pretty much still in the planning phase for it. But I think it's gonna go well if we do it properly, right?
Yeah. It's been something we've wanted to do for a while. And
yeah.
We kind of got into the call like talking about like what the roadmap is for like next 6 months and things we want to do and shit like that. And that video was one of them, and I'm like, ooh, it's finally time. We're gonna do it.
Gotta do it.
But I don't want to mention it. I don't want to say a word.
No, we'll wait till we get there. And there's some other videos that I still really, really want to put out in the next few months. So, definitely would like to make sure the Your Everyday Nerd grind stays there. I want to keep that going. Just a matter of balance and everything, which is never easy.
Speaking of yin, though,
Yeah.
I don't know if this was on your docket, but want to talk about the new purchase you made?
Yeah.
For yin, now that it's finally here.
It's finally here. Got a new camera.
Oh shit!
My first real like video camera, right?
I kind of can't believe you dropped 8K on a Red Cinema camera myself. But when you showed it to me, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know the editing money was doing that well. You can just drop a little cash on it.
Can you fucking imagine? Bro, I was literally all up in my feelings and depressed a couple days ago because I hadn't put out a video in like 2 weeks. And I was like, I just had a really good hot streak. I think it's just time to quit. Like, this is now. And then I thought about it, and I was like, I literally just spent like $800 on a fucking new camera. Like, What is wrong with me? But no, I got the Canon EOS Rebel SL3.
Oh shit!
Shit came with a fucking lens that I don't know nothing about. But it's seems like it's going to be a really solid upgrade. I still got to play around with it a little bit more and actually film something with it.
Oh yeah.
But I'm excited to have it.
It'll take a little bit before you get the full potential out of it, but I am really excited to see an era of yin that's not filmed with a phone and seeing what that looks like.
Yeah. And it's wacky because the iCarly video that I put out last and the other video that I recorded in that same session, I finally got my camera on my phone to look good.
Yeah.
So that's really funny, but it'll be nice to have like an actual consistent, hopefully consistent good quality of camera for this show, because it's been the major roadblock, I guess. That kind of like one thing that very obviously needed to be upgraded a lot sooner. I think it's that, and it'll be cool to not have that be the. There's a word for it that I can't think of. Handicap, that works. That's not what I was looking for, but pretty much. Barrier, yeah, kind of a barrier too, yeah.
The ceiling, maybe.
The ceiling. Yeah, you're all saying words that make sense. So
I want to know the one you're thinking of, Zach.
I can't think of it. I can't think of what I was thinking of. Barrier sounds like what I was thinking of.
He's gonna think of it the next episode and be like, "That's what I meant." And be like,
"Oh yeah, 100%."
That makes sense.
100%. But no, I'm glad to have it, and I'm excited to actually use it.
Of all the technical stuff that Yin could have been improved on, I think this was the most obvious one, because the editing's been at a certain level for a while now. Audio's been good, like thumbnail design is gradually improved, titles, SEO. If you were really looking for like what's the weakest link in the chain here,
exactly
is the video quality for sure. So
Yep, and then anything else needs to be improved on is just like, it's just shit that's gonna happen when it happens, right? Like, I continue to work on these videos and make them the best I can, and so shit'll happen when it needs to. But
I have a feeling
that's the big one.
It'll be the type of stuff where I'm at currently, where it's not so much like upgrading the gear for quality's sake, and more of just accessibility and like ease of use, and being like, what if I had a tripod that I could just set up and leave? Like, okay, sure. What if I had a little capture card that I could just hook up my camera to live stream whenever and leave at my desk? Sure. What if I had a giant fucking SD card to hold all this space, or a huge battery charging stand to like keep it all powered and shit, and like shelves for gear, like the type of stuff that's not very flashy purchases, or a teleprompter even, but like the type of shit that'll just make your life easier behind the scenes.
Well, it's wild because a lot of those things I had gotten before the camera. So, like, I have a pretty good tripod. I have, like, a laptop stand that I use to read my script off of. I went ahead and got a 256 gigabyte SD card when I bought this camera, so I'll have plenty of space. I got the fucking stand for the mic a long time ago. So like these are all things that like I had worked towards getting. It was really just like the major thing was the camera.
The final piece.
The final piece, right?
Interesting.
So, you know, at this point, it'll be making sure I can use it properly and get the quality to be the same throughout every episode. And then after that, it'll be like fully focusing on, you know, making the script better, my on-camera delivery, that, you know, that shit that I'm always worried about isn't as good as it could be.
The workable skills rather than the hardware.
Right. Right.
Type of shit that
I
we're
do
all
enough editing. Exactly. I do enough editing at this point to where that is something that's constantly going to evolve. And so I don't think about it a lot when it comes to my videos because I'm spending so much time working on other people's shit. But it's all the other stuff that I'm constantly like, oh, this could probably be better.
Mm-hmm.
So. But yeah. So there's that. Like I said, I put out some shorts. I was gonna try to do that daily for a little while, and I still want to do more of these shorts. But then I also don't want to have them take up my entire channel and not have any main videos come out. And I don't know if that's something I need to worry about or not because it's such a new thing to YouTube right now.
Right, like there's no real answers or roadmap yet.
Right, and it's like some of them are doing like really, really well. Others are not doing well at all. So it's it's really kind of like a gambling situation at the moment. I just hope that by doing them, it doesn't ruin the channel. I mean, they've all been positive so far, so I think I've been thinking about it too much.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah, for sure that makes sense.
Yeah. Other than that, I've watched a lot of Super Mega. I found a TikTok channel that just posts clips from King of the Hill, so that's been very entertaining.
Very based.
And I noticed that our episode 82 of the podcast, titled "The Problem with YouTube Help Channels," has a whopping 0 views on YouTube.
Yay! Wow, look at us.
This is the first thing I think I've uploaded in years that has a big goose egg.
A big goose egg in there. I feel like, of course, we talked about the start of the episode, the Mario video not doing well. There's been several LHG uploads that I've put out recently that have been in like a hot 0 as well, or like a 1 view type situation. I have to wonder if like everybody in the community right now is just like not feeling it, or if YouTube itself is not feeling it, or what it is. Because it seems, at first I thought it might have just been my own shit, but no, I'm seeing it with the podcast, with LHG, with a lot of stuff. It's just been lower than average.
I work with Pat Flynn on his Pokemon channel, and we put out a video where he gave away a bunch of Pokemon cards to like kids, and we like, you know, it's like a 9-minute, you know, very like, oh, isn't it nice that he's giving these cards to these kids, like, you know, one of those like crowd pleaser type videos. And we were like, this is gonna hit 1 million views, like no doubt. This is the type of content that skyrockets online. It's been the worst performing video on the channel.
Really?
Yeah. It's got like 6,000 views, and the most recent video had like 20,000 in 24 hours. So I think it might be like a full YouTube thing for a lot of people, because I know that I've been seeing some tweets of people saying that their stuff hasn't been performing as well as also. But I also don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, it's all YouTube's fault that my video isn't doing well.
No.
You know,
I'm very I'm very willing to admit fault on my own end, and you know, fault with my process.
Yeah.
But I gotta wonder, you know, part of me gotta wonder.
You gotta wonder.
It just it's hard to hard to feel terribly inspired when you put shit out that like nobody watches, right? It's different
It's a little sus.
if it's an average or it's like a, slightly under, whatever. Cool.
I sometimes when I'm wondering how what other people are thinking about a certain situation, I go to Twitter and I type in like a thing that would be related. And I typed in views down. Just figured maybe I'd see a bunch of people talking about YouTube views being down. No, very a lot of pornographic images. Saying how's the views down there? Yeah. Saw cock and ball a couple times.
That's really good. I like that actually. Glad we could put a positive spin on this episode.
I'm glad you're seeing it as positive. Oh, I was not expecting that.
Funny at least.
At 10:07 p.m. But here we are. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We talked about it briefly off the podcast, but I will be ending my personal podcast soon. The Come Up.
Oh shit!
Gonna be ending it. I need to record a finale and just like put it out there. But that podcast kind of served its purpose for a while. At this point in my life, I just don't feel like talking about my personal life as much as I thought it was necessary back in 2017 through 2019. And I also don't feel like, whatever needs to be said, it can be said here with you in this podcast. But also, like, so much of it just doesn't need to be said,
Sure.
I don't have that much value to bring to people based off of my life. So
I think that's important to kind of take a step back and like reevaluate the projects you're working on and like honestly consider, is it worth doing not only for yourself, but is it worth doing for others, right? Is the people that are listening to it getting the most they can out of it? And I feel like as creators, if you get to the point where you ask those two questions and the answer is no to one or potentially both, then it might be the time to consider stopping the project. And I would never tell anyone to straight up quit something, especially if you like made a promise to follow through and that type of stuff. But ending something, I'm a big proponent of just getting a project to the point where it needs to be, and once you felt like it's served its purpose or is no longer serving its purpose, putting an end on it, wrapping a nice little bow, and then moving on to the next thing. It's just healthy.
I agree.
It's very healthy.
I agree. We were having a long discussion about how, looking back on our old content, even old episodes of this podcast where we just liberally gave out advice on things that we didn't really know what we were talking about. And I feel like that was where a lot of energy into the Come Up was going into. Early episodes of this podcast, personal channel, lots of younger Zach feeling really excited and happy to be a part of the YouTube community and creating content, but also having like this misplaced optimism and just like
not enough life experience is the big
not
one.
Enough life experience. And it's not that I couldn't be the give value guy one day, the Gary V of sorts. You're like just telling people to go do shit and trying to give advice. It's not that I couldn't be that one day. It's that I shouldn't be that right now. And I think that's what I've learned is that I very much right now, when it comes to my content, I either want to be funny man, say funny thing, or I want to be like dude who watched a bunch of movies and played a bunch of games and like dug into a topic that he found interesting to share with other people.
You're learning, basically. You're learning.
Right.
You're not at the point where you want to be the teacher. You want to be a student all the way. Like just immersing yourself in everything, living life, right? And having actual experiences that one day could be something to talk about. But
Right.
I think the funny part is I remember before I started YouTube and wanting to for a period of time, this idea of, oh, when I finally start, I'm going to have so much stuff to talk about because I have just have so many passions and I've lived such an interesting life or whatever. And I was like 16, right? This is like a couple of years before
Yeah.
Blue Couch Productions was a thing. And then when I finally did, and I talked about everything in Midnight Vlogs, and I answered questions, and I was live for God feels like 300, 400 hours, and I have a personal podcast, and I talked to you about YouTube, that infinite well of resources, life experience, and everything that I thought I had to give, quickly realized was finite, and it dried up.
Yeah.
Pretty fast, all things considered. And that's two things. One, I did everything in a very quick amount of time, which most people would like spread that shit out naturally.
Definitely.
Two, and more importantly, I'm still incredibly young and have so much more life to live. Of course I ran out of stuff. I was 18 when I started. I did not have that many interesting things to talk about for upwards of 4 years. And that's what I kind of get out of the come up is like, you've been doing this shit for like 4 years and talking about all sorts of life stuff. And sure, new things happen all the time, but eventually if you keep doing it, you're gonna run out of things. And it becomes the question of what then, right? What do you do then? And I think a very healthy reaction to that is to be very self-aware in the fact that like, I don't have much more to give. I don't have anything left to give. I'm cool with ending it and then coming back later when I feel like I have more to give, right? And I feel like that's sort of a trap a lot of younger creators get into, especially with Gary Vee and hustle culture type stuff, is like give, value. But at a certain point, that's very finite with how much life you've lived.
Sure, but also you have to live, right?
You gotta do more.
Yeah, and it's I was getting to the point where like, bro, there's a reason why the come up has never been consistent, because there were just periods of times where I just didn't feel like sitting there talking about something that I thought was important to my life at the moment. Mm-hmm. It is a situation where like, had I been recording Let's Plays this entire time, it wouldn't have been an issue. But because I didn't have something else to bounce off of while I was talking into the mic,
right,
it very much just became let me talk about my personal problems or successes, and then also hope that something important comes up in the next week so I can do it again next week.
Yep.
And dude, I work from home. I don't go anywhere. There's only so much I can talk about with relation to client stuff without putting myself in a situation where people wouldn't want to hire me. I still so much growth that needs to be made on the personal projects that it's not even like giving YouTube advice and stuff. We already do more than we probably should sometimes,
For sure.
It's just a thing where like you're 100% right. Sometimes you just gotta have an end to that kind of chapter and then move on to the next one. And I think that's where I'm at right now.
Live a couple more chapters before you come back. There's always a chance to come back.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be closing a lot of stuff soon, but there are going to be some other chapters that I'm going to be closing soon.
Oh yeah. That's just going to happen the longer we keep doing this, I think, is eventually we're just not going to be interested in the same things because we've been doing this for 10 years. Like,
True.
True. Like pure math and numbers on that one. Like not even like emotional states or depression or any of that. Just dead ass. If it is a period of time where I've been doing YouTube at a serious level for 10 years, some things are going to change. Some things are going to be different. Some interests are going to go different ways. I'm going to learn some shit about myself. But it'll never be to the point where I stop doing it altogether. There's always going to be something next. And so that's what I hope people get out of this is like, you'll end the come up, sure, but you're not disappearing from content creation altogether. And there's many new projects to eventually take its place whenever they may come.
True. Always got ideas. Too many sometimes. But yeah. So that's another big like creative thing. Other than that, like not much else has happened. Been doing the Your Everyday Nerd website, weekly TV roundup articles. That's been fun. And been reading again. Getting back into some books. So that's been cool.
BookTube moment.
BookTube, bro. Bro, I flirted with the idea of doing a BookTube channel.
Oh,
like
man.
It was a solid like 10 minutes in my bed.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that'd be really fun. Let me do a BookTube channel. And I was like, bro, I should like batch record a bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Edit it, make it look really good. Upload at least like once a week for like a year and tell nobody. And then I really thought about it. I was like, that's too much work. I'm good.
Absolutely. If you were to do it, though, hypothetically, not saying you should.
Yeah.
But if you remember your Star Wars holiday special video, no longer public, but a classic,
unfortunately,
in the Zack Snyder Productions catalog.
Sure.
In which Zack is all dressed up, eating ravioli out of a bowl with a poorly done green screen. I kind of want like that Zack to host a BookTube channel. Like, really proper, really well dressed, perfectly groomed, like by a fireplace with a book
fucking
in hand.
nerd Zach, like really, sure.
But it's like, welcome back, my good fellows. Today we're gonna be reading the biography of Mia Malkova, Chapter 1, and it's like, whoa, okay, sure,
dude. But you joke, but like that kind of be like somewhat what I want to do too, because. A couple of days later, I was like, "Oh, don't do a YouTube channel. Just do a book podcast. You know, you're gonna be closing up to come up soon. You got a little bit room in your schedule to do a podcast." And so, like, I got up to the mic and I was like, "Hold on, let me get it out." Let me get out a book right quick, right? It's like I got a little book open. And I was like. This is the third part of The Lord of the Rings. The first part, The Fellowship of the Ring, told how Gandalf the Grey, like, read like a little segment
every day.
And then I was, no. This is just the one recording. I did this one recording for 20 minutes. I read like the first segment of a book, right? And I was like talking about it, and I was like being very proper about it, just like really like analyzing the book that I was reading and shit. Mm-hmm. And then I was like
a radio show.
After 20, like a radio show. Exactly. Like trying to make sure I knew what I was talking about. And then 20 minutes of this passed and I was very into it. And then the immersion broke and I realized that I was fucking stupid and I cut off the recording.
I kind of want to hear this if you have it.
I don't have it. I don't
have
it
anymore? You got rid of it?
Nah.
Damn.
Nah.
That would have been
Didn't
great.
even save it, bro. Just like cut it off.
Immediately. Wow. You were that over it right there in the moment. You didn't even save that bit.
Well, because there were moments where I'm not a bad public speaker. I've done a lot of like public speaking in front of like actual people, you know, I've done the podcast for a long time. Mm-hmm. But if you just leave me by myself and I'm recording, there's a lot of uhs, a lot of ums, a lot of awkward freezes at times.
And we know you.
Everybody has it.
So.
And I'm not trying to edit anything. And I just like realized that for possibly the last 5 minutes, my sentence stopped being cohesive. I wasn't getting to a point. And I was just like, all right, nope, not going to do this every week. Goodbye.
You did the Aden Plays thing where I recorded an episode of Star Fox Zero and midway through the episode went, actually, no, this is stupid. I hate this. And then stopped recording
exactly.
Immediately.
Exactly.
I don't know if we've talked about that before on the podcast, but I had a brief, maybe week period of like, I'm going to do my own personal Let's Play channel called Aden Plays. And I recorded an episode of Star Fox Zero, and that was going to be the start of it. And then I, thankfully, got my head out of my ass and realized right before, like, oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. That's very funny. I like that a lot.
I'm glad you got a kick out of it.
It made for a good
Didn't
story,
know I was going to talk about it, but it was pretty funny. It doesn't mean that, like, I really find it. I find it to be super interesting to do some content related to reading books. Like I don't know, that's just been something I've really liked the idea of for the last couple of years. But I don't know when it'll happen. It'll probably happen eventually. I just don't know when that's gonna be. I feel like I should know a little bit more about literature also, because I used to read a lot when I was a kid, but if I looked at the list of books that I've read, it's number one, not that many. Like maybe over 100. When you're not talking about picture books that you read when you were 5. Like full on chapter books, right? Maybe over 100.
Do you count all the Magic Treehouse books?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like
that's what
30
I'm saying.
pages.
So, right. So if you're counting all of those, like maybe 200, 300, a good 90% are like young adult children's fiction, right? There's a solid maybe like 20 to 30 real big boy books that I've actually read and quite enjoy, but it's not enough to start a fucking book podcast. I feel like I need to have a little bit more knowledge, right?
Sure. I've been thinking a little bit, and this is kind of related to that. I used to think for a period of time, and I think you thought this way for a good while too, of wouldn't it be really interesting to see a channel who doesn't know about the thing they're going to talk about, and then gradually like learns more about it through the channel, and we like follow that journey, right?
Yeah, I used to think that.
And I think to a level that is interesting.
Sure.
But damn, is it really hard to do that while also being like entertaining, right?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
And I'm not even considering like people in the comments who are already going to be insanely into that niche, like backseating your way through it, right? Telling you, oh, you should read this, or you don't understand like totally robs you of that journey to begin with. And now you're robbing the
100%.
journey from yourself because you're also trying to turn it into content too. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if there's a good version of that out there. You kind of already have to be an expert at the thing you're doing if you want it to be good. Because I feel like trying to do both, the journey and the video stuff, is really hard.
It's really difficult. It's really taxing on the enjoyment of what you're doing also. It's like, I mean, that's how I was with film for a long time. I did my first movie reviews. They were recaps back in 2017. And those were the first movies that I had ever watched that I thought about. Like I deliberately put the movie on in order to make a video on it. I thought about the things on it, and you can go back and listen to those reviews or read some old Letterboxd reviews, and it's very clear that I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't know what I'm talking about. And I still feel that way sometimes. There are still moments where it's like, oh, I'm talking about like I was going to do a video on 2001: A Space Odyssey at some point, and I might still. I feel like I have some enough to say about it. But it was like, that was the second Stanley Kubrick film that I had ever seen. I didn't know anything really about his style. I still don't know much about him. I just watched my third film by him today. Like, who the fuck am I to review this film and talk about it in a meaningful and entertaining way, when clearly, like, I don't have the background knowledge that's necessary.
Not if you already know what the reception is beforehand, right? I feel like if you're going in to, we'll do a different film, Clockwork Orange, and you've never seen it before, but you know that it's a critically acclaimed top 100, then automatically your perspective is going to shift to try and like match that, right? You're going to watch the movie and be like, well, why is it this? Or why do I disagree with it? I feel like maybe the only way you could do that is literally go in somehow, and I don't know how the fuck you do it, is go in completely fucking blind, like have someone else just give you the movie and you don't know anything about it, and maybe have someone else film it. I don't know, like you almost would have to delegate that out, because by yourself, you're You already know a little bit about the film, and you already know what the common opinion is and what people are going to talk about. And if you don't understand it, it's very easy to just repeat what someone else has said in a YouTube video you watched right before filming.
Right. And you're completely right, because especially with those, like, you know, it would happen with film. It would happen with a lot of books that I'd want to read. And it can happen with games too. You're either getting like this very high praised piece of media and you know that everybody loves it. So your reception of the film is either going to be, oh, wow, this was really good. Here's the reasons why. You got the reasons from somebody else.
Yeah.
Or you're going to be like, I don't get the point. It's fine. Why does people like this? Which is also not interesting to watch.
Right. Because you've probably missed some key info somewhere, or like lack of the piece of understanding. Or it is genuinely bad, but nobody wants to hear you shit talk a top 100 film.
Right? In that instance, you might as well be watching all top 100 films off of a list and reviewing them and going 100% off of your experience with them, which would be cool. And that's a good way to cover things like that. But it goes back to that whole media literacy thing, which I find to be super important. I want to know what the fuck I'm talking about before I talk about it, especially now. As I get older, I don't like to seem like an idiot. But also, like, I want to have, like I'm also covering up the lack of entertainment value in the video if I know what I'm talking about too, right?
Right. It helps.
I can have both, but if I have at least one of those, I felt like then it'll be a good video.
It helps to go into a video thinking you know what they're going to talk about, and then they surprise you with something, right?
I agree.
Being like, oh, I didn't know that, or oh, that's kind of funny, or oh, I never thought of it that way. And it's really hard to do that when you don't have that concrete of an opinion one way or another. And for often really great pieces of art or even masterpieces, they're designed for you not to get it right away. So it's really hard to talk about it after a first viewing and expect to get the same kind of enjoyment or criticism as the motherfucker who watched it 6 times and took a class on it prior.
Or at least took that extra level of trying to understand it.
Research beforehand and that type
right.
of shit.
Right. I read the book Lolita recently, which is an interesting book. It's about a pedophile. You were thrown into the mind of a pedophile, basically, and it is a lot of very uncomfortable scenes in that book. But Stanley Kubrick film was made off of it, so I was like, all right, well, I have the book. I'm gonna read the book, then watch the movie. So I did that this past week, and on the back of the book, there's a short little sentence from a review from Vanity Fair that says that this was the most compelling love story ever. And I'm like, love story? I think Vanity Fair missed the point of the book.
I think Vanity Fair a bunch of pedophiles.
It's one or the other. They're either some pedophiles or they missed the point of the book. Because the writing is really well done. It's like a beautifully written book. It just so happens to be about this monster. And so I get where you can kind of come at it with a bunch of different opinions on it, but I guess that's like kind of where I'm getting with is that you could miss the entire point of a piece of media if you don't think about it before and you take that extra step of reading a little bit more about it, watching some videos about it or whatever to make sure you know what you're talking about.
And in a YouTube sense, to tie it back to content, I'm not interested anymore in making videos where I experience a thing for the first time and give a very basic first take.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in watching it, and I'm not interested in making it anymore. And I was for a period of time, and I used to think that's interesting content. Yeah. But now I'm very much like, look, if I'm going to watch this 20-minute video about Shrek, you better bring your A game. You better tell me something about Shrek I didn't know, or like a perspective, or like, you got to know your shit,
right?
Or you better be really funny. That's the other one. Or you better be really funny.
Right. You better be the only person that's never seen Shrek and be really funny in the process of talking about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see another 20-year-old white guy be like, so Shrek is about this. It's a fairy tale, but it's a parody of fairy tale.
I thought, wow, that was weird. I've never seen anything like that before.
Shit.
I'm like, okay, all right.
This donkey fellow is pretty funny.
Pretty quirky, yeah.
Fuck off.
Like, there's a certain point where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm good. And it's fine if you haven't seen the film in question or anything like that.
I agree.
And it's cool to experience and try new things and learn why people love media the way they do. But you don't have enough value yet by only seeing it once to turn that into content, I think.
Yeah.
That's not a letterbox review or first impressions. That you can do.
My
sure,
point.
Whatever.
My big point is over the next 5 years, finishing out my second half of my 20s, I hope to be as pretentious as possible. That's the goal.
I want to be a gatekeeper.
I want to.
That's what I really want out of life. I want to tell people, no, that Batman film was for the commoner. These are the Batman films for the art house student.
Oh yeah.
People would be like, "Wow, you really got no
funny.
bitches, do you?" He's like, "Well,
okay, we can we can get the episode ending soon, but I saw a little snippet of a interview with what's his name, George Clooney, who played Batman in the couple of the old Batman movies.
Batman and Robin,
right?
Classic.
Yeah. You know, the man have like plastic nipples on his outfit and shit.
Yeah. And a bat.
He says in the interview, he was like, so for that movie, I played Batman gay. And the interviewer was like, what? Was Batman supposed to be gay in that movie? He was like, I don't know, probably not. But, you know, I had like these plastic nipples on my outfit. So I played Batman gay. Like, that's wonderful.
Have we reached the point in another YouTube podcast where we're talking about George Clooney's interpretation of Batman from a film that was released 20 years ago? How does that happen?
I don't know, but you said something about Batman, and it just made me think about it. And I was like, I gotta mention this.
I want to retrace these events that happened in this podcast and study it in a lab to try and figure out what went wrong.
Anyways, our last episode one of our last episodes about the Audacity data scandal, Ramzan, he commented and said, shaking my head, the audacity of them.
Very good. Very good.
That was pretty funny.
Me and Zach laughed about it. Yeah. Before we started recording. So.
Yeah.
Quite enjoyable.
Brought happiness into my heart. Joy. Go watch the problem with YouTube help channels because nobody else has. So.
It's on the very channel you're listening to right now. You know, you don't even have to go that far. Check it out.
It's very ironic that the one episode we do about our type of content, basically, on this channel is the one that got 0 views.
Hey man, whatever.
It's fine. I don't actually care. We got 49 on the Anchor listening.
That's good. The people over there listening to it.
Shout out to the boys listening to us on Anchor.
The real
Appreciate
fans,
you guys.
as we like to call them.
The real fans. Never hear from you, because nobody leaves us emails or comments. But hey, man, we got an estimated audience of 38 listeners right now, and I'll take it.
Hell yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
No, I haven't for the past 20 minutes. We've
I figured we really exhausted the.
We got another episode to do after this, Zachary, and
I know
you're over here already talking about Batman's nipples.
Yeah,
what am I gonna do for the next one?
I thought this episode. Let's just end it. I'm Zach,
and I've been Aden.
Thank you for listening to this episode of another YouTube podcast.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.